Welcome to day 3 of our OSHA Safe Plus Sound Week mini webinars. These are short topics between 5 and 15 minutes that will give you one safety culture idea to work with at your farm and one practical thing. So I'm Kathy Malone. I'm an environmental engineer with 40 plus years of experience doing a lot of work with lean and SOPs, and especially reaching out to the shop floor people who know their job better than anybody else.
And this is Jessica Duran. I have worked with dairy farms all my life now, and I grew up on a dairy farm with my grandparents, and I am a doctor of veterinary medicine educated in Mexico.
And our topic today is near-miss action plans and back safety. And probably there aren't many of us who haven't had some kind of a back safety challenge in our lives. I remember getting dumped off a horse and hitting the asphalt right above my sacrum. And I have a numb spot on my leg to this day. And as back injuries go, that's a pretty minor one. Jessica, how about you? You hurt your back in the past?
Yes, and it still hurts sometimes when I overdo it, but that's why we're going to talk about it so we can prevent and we can take care of ourselves.
Okay, and before we do that, we're going to remind you that if you're a Michigan farmer, Next Cycle Michigan has micros grants available up to $10,000 in cash per project. The grant application is really easy. It's 4 essay questions, 300 words or less, and some boilerplate and estimates. And these are for small, innovative waste reduction and recycling projects. So if you've had projects on your farm that you've wanted to do, haven't had the funding to do it, or you've wondered what would the feasibility be of doing something creative, this is your chance.
And Mi Country Life is here to help. We are offering free help for you to apply for Micros Grant. And guess what? Lean is all about waste reduction, so let us help you apply for funding for implementing Lean at your dairy farm. So go down and look for the link to make your appointment and let us know.
Deadlines are August 11th, and then the award's actually the next month, and they just extended the next deadline, which is October 23rd, with awards in November, and there's no guarantee that this funding will get carried over next year. So apply now, put some of your tax dollars to work. We actually have a webinar on that. Our first webinar was about that. Okay, let's move on to near-miss action plan. If your safety plan is not based on near misses, you're in a seriously lagging indicator. You're too late. So for every serious injury, the stats are that you get 10 to 40 minor injuries, property damage with no injury, 40 to 100 of those, and 100 to 600 near misses. So your near misses are the opportunity to say, you know, my foot slipped getting off the tractor, and there's that pin that's turned up the wrong way, and I hit it with my knee, but luckily not very hard. Let's turn the pin down the other way so there's no chance that you could bump your knee on it next time. If every time you have a near miss at your farm, you can go look at where else do you have a similar hazard, and are there things you can do to make your environment safer, you will be starting to get ahead of the game on safety instead of just reporting who got hurt last week. And that's a really satisfying thing to do, because for near misses, if you get the people to where they're reporting all the near misses to you, you can actually, that number is, you're happy when that number goes up. The more near misses you get, the better your chances are to improve safety. Whereas if the metric you're tracking is who got hurt, how many people got hurt, you get this disincentive to report, where people may not report when they get hurt, and then you don't have the opportunity to try to prevent that in the future. So if we look at back safety stats, they're very depressing. 2 million, you get a range between 1 and 2 million back injuries per year, that 80% of adults have had an experience of a back safety injury, and for 5% that injury will be debilitating and ongoing and chronic, and that 38.5% of days away from work are due to back injuries. They said the only thing more frequent is the common cold. Is that for something, Jessica? So the thing to really focus on with back safety is prevention, because most people don't think about it. They kind of run the edge of back safety and they think their back's always going to be okay, and once it's hurt, it's too late. Once you've hurt your back.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Every time you try to lift those buckets full of milk to feed the calves, just try to do it right so you don't hurt your back.
You reminded me of one of my favorite tips, which is when carrying water buckets for the horses, we would carry 2 half-full buckets, one in each hand, and then pour the half-full bucket into the other half-full bucket after we had the one already hung on the wall. And that way we not only had to only carry half as much in each hand, but we were even. We weren't tipped off to one side trying to... I had forgotten about that. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, or trying to carry the small straw bales. Oh, like trying to keep your back straight and bend down carefully so you don't hurt yourself when you are trying to do that.
There was a gentleman, and he was a hay farmer, and his wife showed horses, and he made some little bitty bales for her, like half the size of a normal bale, and she could sell all of those she would show up to at the horse show with it. Of course, she could sell them for 80% of what a whole bale. They made money. But it really was a good suggestion. Or if you're carrying, for me, it's easy to carry one in each hand as opposed to trying to tip sideways. So prevention is the most important thing. But if we talk about how do you prevent hurting your back? And there's a power zone. You want to keep the whatever you're picking up close to your body. And also your power zone is kind of between your hips and your chest. You don't want to be, or with your arms straight if you're carrying buckets. But if you're picking up a box, you want to have your elbows bent. If you're picking up something heavy, elbows bent and close to your body. You want to, if you've got heavy items that you've got in storerooms, you want those at waist height, not overhead. You're really easy to hurt your back either taking something down from overhead or picking it up off the floor. When you've got something heavy, you want to turn your feet, not twist your body. Twisting your body is one of the easiest way to injure your back. If you've got stuff on the floor, you do a kick test, and if it doesn't move easily when you kick it gently, don't break your foot. Get somebody to help you pick it up, and get help if it feels too heavy, irrespective of whether it is technically a 2-person lift or not. One of the companies I dealt with, they considered 35 pounds a 2-person lift, and a full 5-gallon bucket is going to be 40 pounds. A 5-gallon bucket right up to the top is 40 pounds. We've had the kids where you'd have one of them on either side of a bucket and helping carry it together. Probably not practical at a dairy farm. 1, you don't have the kids working there, and 2, nobody has time to have 2 of you carrying one bucket. But Jessica, any other thoughts for back protection?
Yeah, sometimes I try to use my belt for my back and some knee braces.
They've had mixed
wrist
results
braces.
on the braces, because what they've found is people tend to then think that they're okay and overdo. So
Yeah.
Be careful with those.
Yeah,
they can help,
but take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. And so to everybody's, be kind to your back. Also, some exercise to help you learn to build the muscles around your back in a cautious, mindful way can be helpful.
Thanks for listening, and stay safe.